Hi, my name is Don Carnes, and I've been designated by the Committee for the Propagation and Dissemination of Extraneous Information about Music to appear here to propagate and disseminate some extraneous information. And today our subject is the conductor. You know what a conductor is, don't you? He's the man who leads the band. Lead the band for us, will you, Doctor? See, just like I told you. He leads, and it just naturally follows that if he leads, the band follows. See? And you notice he's standing on a box. And the name of that box is podium, spelled P-O-D-I-U-M. P-O-D-I-U-M. Podium. Now the conductor uses a podium just like a king uses a throne. Well, not quite like it. The conductor stands and the king sits down. Maybe that's the reason there are more conductors than kings these days. The kings can't stand being king. Anyway, students, the conductor is king of music when he is on the podium, for the podium is a symbol. Not that kind of a symbol. This is S-Y-M-B-O-L. Now cut that out. Anyway, you notice too that the conductor stands with his back toward the audience. That's not because he doesn't like your looks. Being a conductor, he just naturally has to face the music. So when the conductor mounts the podium, he's the absolute boss. Take for instance, should he want to hear a little 4/4 time, all he does is wave his arms. And when he wants a waltz, he waves his arms like this. Now, when the conductor waves his arms gently like so, we hear woodwinds. And with a slightly different beat, we hear brasses. Naturally, sometimes he'll want high music. And at other times, he may want low music. Oh, come on, fellas. I meant low, not low down. Now, if you'll notice, he doesn't stand in front of all those musicians barehanded. He has a club, a stick. And that little stick is called a baton, B-A-T-O-N. B-A-T-O-N, baton. Podium, baton. Thank you. Elementary, you say, as you nudge the nearest neighbor while saying elementary? Well, yes, I agree. Except you don't know where the podium and baton came from in the first place. Oh, please tell us, sir, you beg. So I will. Come along with me now as we saunter along the centuries-old history's mystical pathway, for it all happened hundreds of years ago in a big forest in a faraway land. Now in the middle of the forest filled with giant cedars and sequoias in this mysterious faraway land so many years ago, there was a little old two-bit run of a tree that wouldn't hardly even be worth mentioning if it weren't for the fact that our entire story is built around it. It was scrawny and scabious and anemic. In fact, it was sick. It felt pretty good for the first 40 years of its sickly life, but after 40, it had tired sap, and the other trees used to make fun of it. And the poor little tree just whimpered, and sobbed, and cried. One day, when the other trees made fun of it, the little tree spoke up. It was a dogwood tree, you see. It said, "You may laugh at me now, you great big giant cedars and sequoias, you, but one day I'll be the most important hunk of wood this side of Dallas, Texas. So there." And the other trees just laughed at him some more, and the little tree got sadder than ever. But one day his fortunes changed, for 3 trombone players from the Baden-Baden band came into the forest. Well, these 3 trombone players sat down by the little tree to eat their picnic lunch, and sure enough, they got to talking about their own conductor, a fella named Shorty Fermata, who not only stood 5 feet 1 in his stocking feet, but was also short-handed. "He's too short to be a conductor," one of the trombone players said. "I can't see him for sour apples." Sour Apples being the name of the fat fellow on saxophone who sat right in front of him. Me neither, said another. He always looks like he's standing in a hole. Well, they thought, and thought. And finally, the third trombonist, who was a real thinker, had a brilliant idea. Why don't he stand on a box? Well, they agreed on that all right. And then the first trombone player said, even if he does stand on a box, his arms are so short, we'll have to buy him a set of Adler's elevated elbows to see his downbeat. They were in a quandary. Or as one of them expressed, we are in a quandary. So they thought some more. And the little tree, hearing their conversation, bent down and whispered in their ears. I beg your pardon, one of the trombone players said to the little tree. Would you mind speaking up a little? I'm a little hard of hearing. Well, what the little tree was saying was that he would volunteer his services if it would help out any. Right, little tree? Right. And as quick as a wink, the Baden-Baden band boys chopped the little tree down. Timber! And quickly as a winkly again, they built the little tree into a podium. And not only that, but they had enough left over to make a baton. But what they didn't know was that the little tree was a magic tree, and so the box became a pedestal, and the baton was transformed into a magic wand to make music. And so now, when the conductor steps on the podium and raises his baton, he can play fast music, or he can play slow music. He can play waltzes. Or he can even play a hoedown. For the man with a stick in his hand is the king. And now, in conclusion, I would like to recite a little poem. May I have some mood music, maestro? The man on the podium acts like it was odium to obey his commands, for he's sure divine might has endowed him with right when he first put the stick in his hands. With his feet on the floor and his eyes on the score, he beats with a zest and a vigor, and despite all his strife, he'll go on all his life, stopping only when mortis is rigor. Here's to our friend the conductor. May he everlastingly thrill us by always including a number by our favorite composer, Don Gillis. So here's to every conductor, strong-hearted and oh so brave. And speaking for all the composers, we need 'em. Long may they wave.